In the north of Kenya, forgotten in a region which precedes the desert, lies a territory of enormous contrasts. It is the so-called Northern Frontier District, the geographical limit beyond which reign the laws of life in the wild. Here, man is an intruder, and survival is determined by the water, the wind, and the sun. In the heart of this unforgiving land stands the Shaba Reserve, a place of biological endemisms, a haven for wildlife at the edge of a blazing desert. Shaba is a place of extremes, constantly putting life to the test. Severe droughts alternate with tremendous floods, turning the savannah into a hell which generates paradises. A land of contrasts where the harshest rigors give rise to the most beautiful works of nature. In a land where life seems impossible, Shaba guards the treasure of its exclusive biodiversity in a paradox without precedent, as if the harshness of the environment were the reason for such richness, as if scarcity were, deep down, the creative force behind the development of life. The Danish writer Karen Blixen wrote, "Africa teaches you this, that God and the devil are one and the same." And in the Kenya that she loved and immortalized in her novel Out of Africa, no other region demonstrates this to quite the same extent as Shaba. Wind, sun, and dust. For 3 years, not a single drop of rain has fallen on the cracked lands of the Northern Frontier District. The plants that have managed to survive on the humidity and the condensation carried by the wind rise stunted and tortured from the parched land. It is the heart of the kingdom of thorns of East Africa. The natives call this region Najika, the wild, desolate region. But even in this time of prolonged drought, life clings on in Shaba. In the cool of night, the herbivores appear in search of the drops of dew and the last shoots softened by the humidity. But thrice now the rainy season has failed to appear, and vegetation is virtually non-existent. The darkness also tempts the carnivores out of their hiding places. Every day the drought claims more victims from among the exhausted animals, and the inhabitants of the shadows seek out the flesh and blood of the dead bodies in order to survive. As a demonstration of its split personality, at night a truce is declared in the unbearable drought of Shaba. The clear skies are lit with millions of stars stretching to infinity, and a serene beauty engulfs the tortured savannah, turning it for a moment into a place of dreams, a mirage in the heart of the kingdom of thorns. It is the rainy season, but the dawn once more brings cloudless skies. One more day without water. During the early hours of the day, the animals take advantage of the lingering cool of the night to carry out their daily activities, before the heat makes all movement impossible. This group of elephants has found the last green patches along the slopes of a karst hill where the limestone rock has retained the water. The elephants move constantly in search of water and food, and now with the plants parched and withered, they need to travel even longer distances to get the 200 kilos of vegetable matter they consume every day. But despite their incredible needs and the precarious situation of Shaba, the enormous pachyderms survive here while many other herbivores have had to choose between emigration or death. The old matriarchs know the secrets of the land, and their wisdom and prodigious memory enable the group to survive. Among the baboons too, the family structure is the key, making it possible for them to remain in Shaba even during the severest droughts. While many species leave, the baboons remain and even manage to raise their young. Their diet is so varied they will eat virtually anything, and among the dry grasses, the scorched stones and the tree bark, it is always possible to find bulbs, insects, small rodents or some reptile of the savanna. Each member of the family contributes to the survival of the group, tasks being shared out for the common good. They all work together in the search for food and water. They are all aware of the precarious situation in which they live, or almost all. For the youngest, life is a never-ending round of games and diversions. During the first weeks of life, these small baboons have no obligations within the group, and the drought doesn't appear to affect them. Mother is always close by, ready with her milk, and they have a group of inseparable friends to play with. So for them, the scorched savanna is a marvelous world full of adventures. Day after day, the clouds fail to appear. The desert seems to gradually eat into the savanna, and the dust piles up like desperate emissaries in search of rains that refuse to come.